then maybe I will wear a hearing aid, maybe I won't. So it isn't as severe as others have. But what I would say in terms of hearing loss and problems, if you feel even slightly that you're struggling, then I would just advise to take a test. And as I said, even if the test comes back that you haven't got any hearing issues, then that's quite a relief. That's good to know, isn't it? There is absolutely no harm in having a test. And then if the test does show that there is a problem or an issue, then you can deal with that. And then the other thing is for supporting people who have hearing loss impairment. I think the main thing is to be patient and kind. And I wrote that in the TES article, just because I was chatting to a few teachers and they told me lots of people have been telling me about incidents they've had where people haven't been kind, where people have lost their patience because they've had to repeat things. There was one teacher who messaged me and she hadn't told anybody about her hearing challenges. And a student said to her in class, "Oh, miss, are you deaf?" And obviously that's really rude. And her response was, "Well, I am partially deaf, yes." And then that led to a conversation. And as you can imagine, that child felt awful and apologized. And even if she didn't have a problem, he shouldn't have said that. But there should that then open the discussion. And then the children, when they did know, they were, a lot kinder and more understanding. So I think if you do have a hearing impairment, then to be honest and open about it really does help massively. And then if you are aware of somebody, as I've said, have patience and try to be as understanding as possible. So that's that about my hearing aid. Anyway, I won't go too much into that, but you can read my TES article, you can get in touch with me, or you can comment and join the conversation if you'd like to add anything to it. So this morning we've been talking about half term. What are you doing over half term? Are you relaxing? Are you doing some teacher related things? If you're listening to Teachers Talk Radio, then but we don't see this as work. This is really enjoyable. This is a really informal type of professional development where we talk about lots of different topics in education. We've got a lot of new hosts joining Teachers Talk Radio. We are expanding, and our boss, our CEO, Tom Rogers, has modelled already the Teachers Talk Radio t-shirt, which, we're getting into merch, and you can also win a Teachers Talk Radio mug. So, what else you can do with Teachers Talk Radio is you can advertise as well with us. So I'm now going to share the latest advert with you.
Introducing Amanda Davey. Amanda is one of the first specialist teacher assessors for dyscalculia in the UK and offers dyscalculia tutoring and bespoke training for schools. With 26 years of teaching and tutoring experience in the UK, Amanda offers specialist online tuition focused on building confidence and developing skills. Amanda also offers online and face-to-face training on dyscalculia for educators, informing practitioners as to how to identify children that may have dyscalculia and how to support them in class. Find out more about Amanda and what she can offer you at www.amanda-davey-dyscalculia.co.uk.
Okay then, so if you would like to advertise with Teachers Talk Radio, do get in touch with us. Now, before my guest joins us, Andrea Zafriakou. And Andrea really did gain a profile outside of her school. And hi, Andrea is here now. So Andrea, if you press the call button, and then I will let you in. So I was just about to introduce that. But this is perfect. Hello, Andrea.
Good morning, Kate. Am I here?
Oh, morning. Yes, we can hear you. There we go. That was very smooth.
Do you know what? I'm just so happy I haven't broken Teacher Talk Radio, that I've not broken the internet today and the phone.
No.
Good morning. Happy Friday.
Yes, and actually that was the hard bit over, and we've done that. And thank you for joining, because I asked you actually a while ago, and the only time you could do it was during half term, because you're obviously in school, aren't you? So thank you for waking up this morning on your half term break.
Oh no, it's my pleasure. My pleasure to talk to you. Massive fan, and just love this radio station. Love what we're all doing, and just learning from everyone. So no, it's so I've got a bit kind of like a goosebumps actually. I'm like, oh, I've been invited to talk. That's really
Oh
cute.
my goodness. Well, this is like we're just fangirling each other because I'm a
Yeah.
huge fan. And you know what, I feel like this is the first time we spoke, Andrea, but I feel like I know you because I've spent 6 hours listening to your audiobook.
Oh, was that you then?
No, it's so
Oh,
good. No,
oh
it was
wow.
brilliant. And I did say this to you that I before we'll get into everything, but the fact that I love the fact that it was you reading your book because there's a
Mm.
few teacher books and there's not many people who record it, but the fact that I could hear you talking and reading your book and tell your story, it really did make me feel like I know you. So that
Oh,
that is amazing.
oh
We had a
no.
guest last week and he said it takes a long time to record. Is that true? Was it really difficult?
It was. It took 2 whole days to record, and it was really. I think just getting into it, warming up, because it's you're reading into this mic and you're trying to make it as interesting as possible. And no, it was. I really enjoyed it. I thought I had so much fun, but it's exhausting, but it was so much fun. And yeah, just trying to make, And sometimes when I get excited, I know I speak really fast. So I had to make sure that it was like no, just Andrea, just speak slower, please. Just speak slow. Let's do that again. Let's do that again. And one more time, we'll do that again. So
Oh,
because you have to speak slowly, because obviously people process in different ways. So that was a challenge, but no, it was good fun. It was wonderful. I actually really enjoyed the process. And apparently, I have a skill in this now, so I can do
I thought,
voiceovers.
yeah,
I can do
you
voiceovers
should.
apparently. So my new
Because
my new side career is that I can do voiceovers. So get in touch, guys.
yeah, because you put on the accents when you were like quoting your mom
Oh.
and people like that. It's so good. So
Oh.
that's great. But anyway, I'm not quite sure where to begin. Bread to Buckingham Palace. Oh my goodness, there's so much to cover. But I think actually a really good starting point to introduce you would be just to say about your school, Alperton Community School. And I'm correct in saying then that this is where you're currently at and you started as an NQT as well. And
Yeah.
this was a school that I remember in the book, your dad said, "Oh, that's a difficult school, just do 1 year." And you didn't really stick to that, did you?
No, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's a school where I remember when I studied at the Institute and of Education, and you kind of get really you just want to apply for any job that's out there really. And trying to apply for an art job at that time was quite difficult, simply because there isn't that many art teacher jobs available, because art teachers never leave because we just love it, and it's fact. So when this came up, I just thought, sod it, I'm going to apply. And I mean, I knew, I've heard of the area, and it wasn't too far away from me. It's only about 25 minutes drive on the other side of Brent, where I live. And I thought, let's go for it. But then when my dad, when he saw that I was applying for this, he's like, he gets like, no, Andre, no, this is a very dangerous area. There's stabbings, there's muggings. No. I've heard about this school. You know how dads are very protective. Or he said
Oh,
that. And so my kind of my response was like, look, Dad, it's just I need the experience. It's just for a year. Once I get through the door, once I have this 1 year's teacher training, then I can go anywhere. I can teach anywhere. I can go to a nice school, and we'll take it from there. But yeah, I think 15 years later, I'm still there. I'm one of
amazing.
those. I'm one of those kind of, I don't know, Kate. Everyone's like, oh, you shouldn't stay more than 10 years or 5 years in the school. Um, I'm like kind of one of those teachers that unfortunately or fortunately, I was just given so many different opportunities in my school. So, every year there was a different type of um, I don't know, role that you could take up, and it was just because it was at that time quite challenging, and it was all hands on deck. There was just opportunities, and I just tried so much. So I did a little bit of curriculum, a little bit of pastoral, and I just, it just flown by. And I think it's only like 2 years ago where I realized that I wasn't, when you have our lovely new young teachers coming through, and our BTs and our NQTs coming through, and I just realized that a few years ago I wasn't a young teacher.
Oh,
I was like, actually, I'm probably one of the older teachers now. So my mentality was a bit strange. I think it's like, okay, like, reality check. You're not a young teacher anymore. You're one of the old people now. So it was quite funny. But yeah.
Oh, well, no, you're still young and enthusiastic, definitely. What's your role there now? Then you're a senior leader there. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. So I've been on the leadership team for, I'd say, about 10 years now, and
Oh, wow.
I'm currently I'm part-time, so I'm not every day in the classroom, but what I'm leading on at the moment is transition and supporting the teaching and learning team, the curriculum team, with professional development, because that's my true kind of like baby. And from September, I'm going to be leading on diversity in the school. So it's quite fabulous that we've got a whole role in school at senior level that is about making sure that we are reflecting on ourselves and making sure that we are a diverse school, and that we believe in all the ethos of inclusion and diversity. So it's quite exciting, really. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing, because actually listening to your book, and the student community is very diverse, isn't it, at your in the county, and it was an eye opener, actually. I've been really honest, because I teach in an independent school in Abu Dhabi, so lots of your experiences, some of them I could relate to, some of them I thought, I haven't been through anything like that. And it was just that I loved all that. I loved the stories about all the students. I could see why you stayed there for so long, because all of these relationships that you've had and you've developed. How has the school responded to you, being the global teacher prize winner, MBE? Like, that's pretty cool to have your teachers and best teacher in the world. So
well, I mean, the beauty about all of this is that, come on, reality check, and I am a very grounded person, Kate, and it's, I've never thought that I was the best teacher in the world. I mean, it's an impossible, slightly embarrassing title to have. But I think what was really beautiful is that it's the time for my school to really shine, and everyone who was there to kind of be part of this, excuse me, croaky voice, but being part of this really exciting journey. And it really has been fun. I mean, we've had so many people come to the school. We've had celebrities who just wanted to be nosy and come and meet us all.
Yeah.
No, but this is all about the school, celebrating young people. Nobody knew who we were, and I'd say people would cross the road when they saw us. But now everyone kind of recognises the name. There's still so much talk in the community. Like, you go up to the local post office and like, oh, you're that teacher. So it's just been beautiful. And I think my colleagues, when they go out on their CPD, they're like, oh, you're from that school that you got the best teacher in the world, what she's like. And they're like, oh, that's Zaf, that's just like Zaf. So it's been quite lovely that we've all gained from it. We've all had a bit of starlight from this incredible award. So yeah, it's been interesting.
Well, I knew you'd be really humble about that, because and I saw a clip that actually Buckingham Palace tweeted of you when you got your MBE, and how you said this is for the teacher profession, and you weren't saying this was about you. But I can imagine that even just that title would come with some pressure then, because even as I'm an author, people then say, oh, well, you're this author, so you must be the best teacher, and things like that. And then that is, like you said, it is a little bit embarrassing. It does come with that pressure. But for anyone who doesn't know, I mean, let's talk about why you won the prize. It's because of all the amazing work you've done with your subject, actually. And that's the other thing that I wanted to say as well, that I completely relate to. Think about the schools I've worked at, about the challenge you have. You're really passionate about art. That really comes through, art and textiles. but trying to raise the profile of the subject in your school was one thing that really came across, and I think lots of schools struggle with that. But also how you have used your subject to help lots of students. Is that why you think you've won the prize? Is that, I suppose, because you spoke about somebody obviously nominated you for it, for the amazing work you've done with your students, and then there's the forms and all that sort of thing you have to fill in. But that's my understanding of it, is that you have won this award, not necessarily for you. You know, it's not like somebody's come and watched you teach a lesson and said, here you go. It's because of the bigger impact you have had on so many students, and just helping them achieve and overcome challenges, and the challenging backgrounds that they've I think it's really, really incredible and inspiring. So if someone was to say to you, Andrew, why did you win that award? What would you say is the reason why?
Got no idea. No, I would say that it is because of I don't know. I'll just say it's because what we do in the school and the opportunities that we do, and it's probably how I am such an advocate and ambassador for the arts and education. How I've got evidence of how the arts can improve the quality of teaching, improve the life of a young person, help a young person engage in other curriculum. So it's about my advocacy of a subject, the evidence of it, the fact that I just, for the last 15 years, I've just been living and breathing my school, and just loving being part of the community. It's not just about, I think, and this is what I quite love about the award, it's not just about one thing that you do, it's about a lot of things that you do, being really immersed in your school, getting involved. And I think another big factor was my role as CPD lead at that time, and how from where we were, and through support, coming up with a really powerful CPD program, we got from requires improvement to good with outstanding leadership, with the O, if you know what I mean, the O talk. I'm not going to say that word, but with that with the O talk. But yeah, so it's a bit, I don't know, it's one of those funky things. And sometimes, Kate, I do reflect. And if I'm going to be honest with me, I would honestly say, I'm not trying to be humble or just trying to get, brownie points from any one of your viewers. People don't really understand or will ever get the difference between teachers in the UK and teachers overseas. And that's no disrespect to you at all, or anyone who is working overseas. But I've met so many teachers from the prize throughout the world, and I noticed that there's something special about the UK teacher, and that is that they're just so dedicated. It's not just about teaching your subject and that's it, you can go home. It's the other part, which I'm hoping has come out in my book, Those Who Can Teach. It's about the pastoral, the investment in the young people. The fact that we know that if you don't get that right, the making sure that your young people are right, building the relationships, getting to know them, then actually teaching and learning doesn't take place effectively. It doesn't really work. So it's really it's really kind of like a call out to say, this is what happens in UK schools. This is what happens in particular inner city schools. This is what teachers do. I don't know if you
I think that. I think that is really fair, because, as I said, I did teach. I taught for 6 years in the UK, and that was it wasn't in the city. It wasn't diverse at all. We had some free school meals, students, and so on. I absolutely loved teaching there. I just wanted the adventure. But I was thinking about my last. I've been out here now 5 years, and then I was just listening to your book, and actually today is a light-hearted chat, but there's some serious stuff in that. There's a few times where I was filling up. I had my headphones in and I was filling up crying at one point, just because of some of the stories that you've obviously encountered in your pastoral role and so on. And actually, like I said, really eye-opening, and the challenges are very unique. I think that is what makes in the UK, it is different. And I'm returning to the UK actually as well. So I'm excited. Yeah, I'm
You're
excited
coming
for that.
back. Yeah,
Oh, I
it's nice.
definitely want to visit you in your school as well. I'm one of those people who like, can I come and visit? Because
Oh,
I
absolutely.
oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. So no, that's I really did get a good feel. I would highly recommend everyone read those who can teach, because I really got a good understanding of you and your school and the ethos and going above and beyond. I think that's it, isn't it? And that's what the Global Teacher Prize competition was about. And actually, you came to the United Arab Emirates for that, didn't you? As well. That's where we host in Dubai. So was that really special? Was that your first time visiting Dubai?
It was my second time, because my first time I've got a really good friend of mine, one of my girls, who has done what you've done and decided to, and we started teaching at the same time, so we joined Alberton at the same time. And after 5 years, she's like, right, I've got something I want to tell you. Can you just kind of sit down and don't react, just listen to me. And I was like, watch me, I've got a job in the UAE. And I was like, oh, and my heart broke. I was like, how can I cope without my bestie, my friend in my school? Because we were changing the world, obviously, clearly. So I went to see her, and it was just wonderful. But then, coming back and that was seeing her was on a kind of like a, what can I say? It was on a teacher budget, so it was really 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 lovely kind of thing. But attending as a guest from the Global Teacher Prize, well, come on. I mean, they actually, I'm sure they built another leaf on the Palm Atlantis just for this award. I mean, it was just glitzy and glam, and it's part of an educational conference as well. And so, it's an international event, and when I think there was only 30, 40 teachers there. The rest were just VIPs, celebrities, ministers of education from all over the world. So it was just so strange.
That's so Dubai. So glamorous.
It's so glamorous. And I was wearing a ball gown at the ceremony and dinner, and I was just like, I'm having a Cinderella moment. But it was just so special. It was so special. It was such a dream. And I was completely out of my comfort zone. I was a nervous wreck, because who on earth would expect an art teacher from Brent in London to win this prize? So yeah, it was wonderful and completely surreal as well.
Oh, well, we've got a comment. Mike Tamberbay is listening in America, and he says, I find teachers in the UK are very original, using your words different, but UK teachers are awesome. So there we go. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
And actually, wonderful. We were all really proud when the Global Teacher Prize winner was someone from the UK. Teachers like, yes, that's so represented. And actually, I tweeted that picture of you, which I love. You're in your ball gown, and you're like, yes. It's brilliant.
Do you know what, Kate? Thank you. You picked my favorite ever picture, because
good.
Because if you were at that ceremony, you would notice that it was almost like going to this palace. So you're very, you've got to be, you're and the sheikhs were there, and so you've got to just remember that you can't just be at a football match. But when I won and it was time to sing my speech, I got my kind of my speech out, put it on the podium, and then I just thought, got it, and I just thought, yay! It was me just going celebrating. So yeah, that's one of my most wonderful memories.
Oh, that is a great picture. And yeah, you met, there's another photo of you with Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, leader of Dubai, so ruler of Dubai. Wow, just what a great place to host it in Dubai, and what just an incredible, surreal experience, because we don't really have anything like that in the UK, do we? But I've won a few awards out here. I've won a few like random awards out here, and it is something that they definitely love, because was it Sunny Varkey who's responsible for the teacher?
Yeah, that's right. No, you're absolutely right. It's Sunny Varkey. Now, the beauty about the Sunny Varkey and the Varkey Foundation is that his parents were teachers, And, you know, we're talking about a trillion millionaire. And he thought, you know what, I realized how hard my parents worked, and I realized how important education is. And I think it's that spotlight on education, the fact that this is really important and teachers are working above and beyond. Hey, why don't we come up with an award that celebrates the best teacher in the world? And why don't we just give them $1 million as well? So, you know, I think it's slightly bonkers, the fact that I am a millionaire, as it would be. But on the other hand, I think it's incredible, beautiful that, hooray, you know, someone is actually saying, you know, teachers are that important. Teachers are, you know, are incredible human beings, and they deserve the right to be showcased and to have their story told and their community celebrated. And that's what I really respect and you know, think about this award. Kate, there's no way I would ever enter an award. I mean, it's just so I don't feel that you know, it's so awkward. You know, come on, it's so awkward. But just to, you know, I thought this one was quite different and quite special. And yeah.
Oh no, it absolutely is. It is wonderful, and like, it is wonderful that we do have awards out here, because it does show that they are like you've said in many of your interviews, it shows that they're celebrating teachers, recognizing teachers, praising teachers. You know, absolutely. A lot of, when I told people that I'm talking to you this week, most of the questions have been directed towards, why is she still in the classroom if she has that money, or what did she do with the money? So and I'm like, no, you're very much still in the classroom, and that didn't change anything, did it? But I mean, that's you're also, though, a CEO, aren't you, of Artists in Residence, which
That's right.
So
that's
right. Is that the project?
Yeah, you're right, Kate. So, you know, just kind of, yes, I won $1 million, and I think it's the most uncomfortable thing I've ever had in my life. And, you know, when people said to me, you know, oh, what are you going to do with the money? And I think, you know, I went kind of through the mill, as I mentioned in my book, in terms of, you know, me going to Downing Street and meeting and being offered something and turning it down. And then I just thought, well, you know, I've got to do something. I've got to, you know, I can't just say no to the government and not do anything about it. So what I decided to do was to use all of the money that I was given by the Barkey Foundation, which in hindsight I should have probably thought of paying off my mortgage, but never mind. You know, and to set up a charity, and this charity is called Artists in Residence. And what we do, we bring artists into schools, and we help schools by creating bespoke projects with their young people, and it's all about, for me, inspiration and really raising the profile of the arts and education, because I know that it's still such a strange climate for teaching at the moment, and many of our young people don't think that there's jobs in the arts, and many parents don't think there's jobs in the arts. But I think it's about, well, actually, by taking on an artistic subject, being visual arts, music, drama, the skills which you learn are powerful, transferable, and hey, look, this artist or designer is doing something with it. And then I think that's what it is about, the power of role models, the power of inspiration, and just the importance of creativity. And I'm loving it. I'm just loving having this kind of this Jekyll and Hyde life of going in the classroom, loving what I'm doing there, and just feeling so at home and grounded, teaching my art lessons and my textiles lessons. And on the other hand, you know, working outside education, you know, working the charity sector, but still appreciating and learning the language, and trying to show the world the importance of what it's like to, you know, work in education and bringing the arts and creativity into our schools. So it's, and the beauty about it is also is that, you know, schools are really engaging in our work that we're doing, because they trust us, because, you know, we know schools, we know how schools work, and we know the problems and the complexities, and, you know, you just can't, you know, there's so much to be approved before you actually can say yes to a person. And so it's so good, it's so exciting.
Oh, well, what a typical teacher thing to do. You win $1 million and you put it back in education. It's like we all pay for our own glue sticks as well.
Yeah. for sure, exactly.
Oh, you do
Yeah.
deserve to treat yourself as well with that. But that really is incredible. And again, it's just a reflection of you and your character, and even more of a reason why you're deserving of that prize. So then, is that when you got the MBE after that? I mean, there's so much. I didn't even realize initially that you were, and I apologize if I haven't put Andrea Zafiaku MBE. Is that how you sign your name off? Or
Kate, where is my red carpet? I mean, for God's sake, I should have had like golden earpods, you know.
Oh, I know.
Oh, for God's sake, no. I mean, I tell you what. I mean, again, it's like, what, you know, you receive all these emails. I mean, my inbox has just been madness. You see what I have in my inbox. But this one was oh my God, you know, oh my God. So I've just been. But I think what was really special about this particular one, the MBE, was that as typical as I am, they offer you to have two guests to accompany you to the palace, and I thought, well, how is that going to happen? Because I've got the whole of my family, and it's so important for them. So I managed to. I went back to the organisers of the awards, and I said, can I have some more tickets, because I've got to bring my mum, my dad, my husband, and my two girls. So luckily they gave me 5 tickets. 5 guest tickets to come to the palace. And what was really, really beautiful for me is that I've been kind of on planes and jet setting, and and the spotlight has always been on me, but I didn't think that my family have ever I wanted them to feel part of it, and by taking them to the palace, and them sitting, them dressing up and having their hair done, and and just being in that incredible institution, and the beauty of Buckingham Palace, and all the glitz and glam that comes with that. They got to feel that and experience that too. And for me, that is one of my most special days, to see my family enjoying themselves. When I went to receive the MBE, and I'll tell you what, and Prince William, who gave me my MBE, he's so nice.
Oh,
he's such a lovely man, and his wife came to my school a couple of weeks before that, and Kate came to school to just meet the teachers, meet the students, because she was just driving her mental health campaign then. And I gave her a tiny little textiles piece from an ex-student of mine who was suffering from mental health, and I just thought this piece was so special to me. And he actually mentioned that. He goes, "Oh, Kate brought back,"
wow.
and I just thought, "Oh my God, they've got a real man. They're really married. They've got a proper husband and wife. They had a wedding. They got married." So that was really that was really cute. That was really lovely, just to kind of know that I think our country's in safe hands with our new royal. So no, it's good. It's exciting.
Yeah, well, that's a great picture as well. You and Prince William having a chat. I posted that. I was like, oh, that's a good one. Wow, just so excited.
As you do. Yeah.
And it's so funny actually, because at the start of your book, at some point in your book, you write about when you're in year 9 and how you weren't allowed to take art as a GCSE option. And it's funny because I'm a history teacher, and you were made to take history and you really didn't like it. And then this belief of where can you get with art, and actually, well, you've just shown exactly, how powerful that could be. So has your dad said, I'm really glad you took art and dropped history?
Oh, come on, they're so stubborn, my family. They'll never say no. I mean, I am the black sheep in my family. I've got, I'm the one who will argue that milk is not white, it's black, and so I'm that kind of person who's always challenging the status quo, and challenging thoughts, and a little bit of the on the wild side. But I just, I noticed that this is something that a lot of our young people are feeling in my school. For example, the pressures of I've got to take I've only got only a certain amount of options or choices, and what is it that I need to take, and what should I take, and what will give me a sounding start to my life, and what's what do I want to be, and what money am I going to have, and how am I going to pay off my student debt. And in, you know, what we are very good in this country, in the UK, at publicising is that the arts are not important, that they're not, you know, you can't get any jobs in them, that it's you know, it's that you know, that there's no point in doing this. It's a fun subject, and that's what I just wanted to change. And I felt that for me when I was studying. Art was, it felt like a hobby. I was, you know, I just used to get lost in it. It was my favorite subject. It was the one thing that I would spend most of my time at home doing my homework. And yeah, and I was, and again, it's kind of why we set up Artists in Residence, is because it's just to show that there is a future, there, it is important. And now more than ever, when we've got all these new jobs coming up because of, you know, technology, you know, all you see on the job descriptions are, you know, are you creative? Are you a team player? Can you think outside of the box? You know, in fact, well, that's art. That's the arts. That's creativity. Yep, we are. This is what we teach in our subject. So, yeah. So it's a strange. It's really strange, but it's about, you know, just keeping on going, keeping on raising that telling that story, telling, you know, advocating for it as well. So yeah, I'm going to be quiet now because I talk too much. Sorry.
No, I totally. I had similar. I studied drama at A level alongside history, and I was doing drama at university, and it was the same pressures from my parents. What are you going to do with drama? And history's more academic, and I did love history, and it was fine. And I see that a lot actually in. We struggle actually even with history, because in the United Arab Emirates, both the schools I've worked at, maths and the sciences are very popular, and medicine is the route, and we're trying to you're trying to sort of fight for your subject as well. And that's one of my favorite things about your book, about your passion for the subject, but also just trying to raise that profile of it as well. And how is that must have been really tough, actually, teaching art and textiles with COVID and online learning. How's your school adapted with that as a practical subject?
I mean, Kate, it was horrible. I hate it.
Yeah.
I just, you know, you just realize how much you love your art room and your classroom through that, because, you know, when you've got all your resources in your classroom, in the cupboards, and you can just go out and get some paint and whatever. But when you're teaching online, you've got to assume that, I mean, everything's changed. You're learning a new line, a new type of pedagogy. You know, you're teaching in a different style. And for me, my challenge was that my learners, they wouldn't have access to paints at home. You know, they wouldn't have many of them wouldn't have any coloring pencils. Many of them wouldn't have any plain paper lying around. So, you know, how can I make a really exciting art lesson for them that is not going to be another stare at the screen for an hour, and make it fun for them and make it exciting for them? And yeah, I had a lot of guilt, and I think I planned some of the best lessons I've ever planned online, because of the fact I just wanted to get it right. But I tell you what, though, coming back into school is just, you know, it's just beautiful. I love it. I love you just miss it so much, that, you know, this is my natural working environment, not at home. This is where I want to be. I feel so comfortable in my school environment. I miss the playground noise, the smell of the art room, you know, even the lost property room, that whiff. I miss that too.
Oh, you know, when I did my first duty that I hadn't done a duty in about 6 or 9 months, and I was tearing up because all the things I'd taken for granted and really, really missed. But yeah, it's obviously the challenges with online learning, but with a practical subject, like you said, you can't assume that students just probably won't have that equipment, and then that's really challenging again. And it is a subject that can obviously really help. I know you've talked about in your role as well. You were head of year, and your school's done a lot with mental health provision as well. So even, you know, because lots of my friends now do. I know this is not what you teach, by the way. It's very separate, the colouring in to help. But actually, they do find one of my friends finds just painting and art, just in general, really helps her in terms of her mental health and her well-being, and what she can communicate through her artwork as well. So it's been really, really interesting about your love for art, and then trying to get the students who aren't always allowed to take it as an option. It's just really interesting, that, isn't it? But hopefully, I think you're doing a great job in raising that profile with it as well. And then I was going to ask you actually about your head of year role. So this is a role that I've never done, and I've always been sort of a head of department. And I know the head of year is a lot more reactive, but your book, I mean, some of the things that you were dealing with, police officers in school, it just sounded like you with your tutor group, weren't you, from year 7, and then that same year group you became head of year 9. But was that a really tough role, head of year, in that context?
So what was really special about this year group, my year group, and I think they'll always be your year group, right? Because
yeah,
when you have a year, this is my year group. When I first started at Alperton, I was a form tutor as an NQT to year 7 group, and then I was given the opportunity to be the head of year in year 9. So this was I love them, but it was I think one of my favorite roles and one of my hardest roles, because when you are a head of department, you're mostly dealing with staff. So you're managing a team, you're managing your teachers, and try and make sure there's consistency and blah 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 blah. But when you are working with young people, it's just so different, and it's they come in with bad days, they come in with horrendous days, they've got issues which are big issues. It's sometimes we are very dismissive of what they're going through, and it's that's because of teenagers, but actually this is a big thing for them. And I loved it, and it was hard, and it was raw, and it was I learned so much more about teaching and how to be a better teacher and building relationships, and being on the other side as well, like being the advocate for the student as well, not just kind of advocating for teachers, but advocating for students. I think that was what I really enjoyed about the role. And then the parents, you're liaising with the parents, and some of those parents that you have on speed dial on your phone because you're always getting in contact with them. So I think it's the role that I'd say, although I learned so much from, and and I since then I have done other things, but it's the role that I think you will never forget. And I think it's once you wear a pastoral hat, regardless of whatever you do in your school, you will always be wearing that hat, because there's an ingrained way of looking at things and thinking about things and reacting and doing things, which will never ever leave you. So yeah, I'm such an advocate for the pastoral work in schools. It's so important.
Yeah, well, it comes across how passionate you feel about the pastoral role. I've never read a book like yours. I've read loads of teaching books, and your book, it's honestly it was amazing. And I know I say this to all my guests, but your book, it's just I do say this to all my guests, but and I mean it with all my guests. But your book is very, very different, and it covers so much, and there's lots of things there that I think are really important in your book that we don't talk about. The student who was addicted to his PlayStation, and the gangs, and then the lots of the sort of some of the issues with female pupils as well. I just think it's, as I said, a real eye opener, and the screen time, and then there's also talking about teachers and workload and burnout, and how one night your husband's saying, switch your emails off, and all these things that I just think these are the things that we really need to talk about. Because obviously I write about the teaching and learning aspect of it, things, and they're very, very important. But there is this other side of teaching, where these other things that we deal with every day, the human side of it, and that's what really I think comes across in your book, are these stories of all these different students. And then sometimes with the students, you don't know what's happened to them later on. And that's, again, happened in my career as well, that students sometimes leave the school for whatever reason. And, we are human, we do get attached. And you made me feel better about that, because early in my career, very early in my career when I was a trainee, there was quite a difficult issue with a young student. And I found myself struggling to sleep at night, because I was so worried about her. And someone just sort of was really dismissive of that with me, saying, come on, this is, you're going to have to toughen up if you're a teacher. You see this all the time. And don't let it get to you. And I just thought, oh, I'm not cut out to be a teacher because this is upsetting. But then there is that line where we will see things as a teacher, and we do have to, obviously, we can't let it consume us, and there's only so much we can do. But then you also made me feel a lot better for the fact that, yes, we do care, we do get attached, we do worry about these children in our care, and that, I think we just need more discussion, like I said, of the human side of teaching, which your book, it's not not the story of Dubai. That's at the end, isn't it? The prize, and it's about all these stories about these students in your class, and I loved it, really, and it felt like I was in your school. I got a really good feel for it. So thank you for that. I mean, is that what you wanted when you were approached to write a book?
That's okay. I'm so grateful to you. Thank you for saying what you said, and that's because that's exactly what it was about. I mean, again, it's thinking about, when I won the award, so many people, not from the edu world, but outside the edu world, like, oh, can you write a book? We'd like to, can you write your story? And I was like, what? Oh, I'm so boring. There's nothing, who's going to read it? What's so special about it? What's so special about me? I'm just, this is what I do in my school. But then the more I thought about it, it's again the advocacy for what we do in our school. There's not that many people outside the edu world who understand the reality of what teaching is like in this world, in a world like us, where the challenges of a young person are so great and the responsibilities are so great. So I'm really grateful that you said, is that what I wanted? The answer is yes. I wanted the world outside of edu to acknowledge what we do, what we go through, and what's in our classrooms. Who is it that we work with? And on the other hand, I just wanted to make sure that I wanted the teachers who read my book to say, yeah, that's my story too. Yeah, you're writing about my students too, and you're writing about the experience that I've had, because that's so important, to be able to share other people's stories as well. It's about, it's raising the profile of what we do, guys, and what we do it's just mad. It's incredible. I do think our profession is so undervalued, so underrated, because what we do, we really are on the front line of everything. We're meant to, we have to be inspiring. We've got to, make sure our young people are thriving in our lessons and are doing well. So there's so much pressure there, and also, making sure they're reaching their targets. So it's a massive responsibility and pressure, and I don't think people really know what teaching is like unless you are in the profession. And so this is just kind of like a celebration, I'd say. So a celebration of what we do day in, day out. We don't moan. Yes, okay, we moan a little bit. We don't complain too much, but it's so much bigger than just one person. It's about our young people in front of us.
Yeah, well, and it is a book that actually is great for the teaching community, because if you don't teach in a school like that, it will open your eyes to some elements. But then there's lots of aspects of your book where we can all relate to. We've all had similar experiences, and it is a book where I was like laughing out loud at some points and then tears in my eyes at others, which that's not really what an education book does. So I don't think anyone cries reading retrieval practice. I don't think it has that.
I tell you what, saying that, I did. When I read your book about a year ago, I think it was, and I had to use it to lead a CPD, and I just thought, oh my god, this woman's so amazing. Again, going back at you, Kate, I just think, oh my god, she just gets it. She makes it so simple. She makes it so brilliant. So it's communicating our experience and our stories. So it's and your book.
I didn't cry. I don't think there's anything to cry about with cognitive psychology, but your book is very, like, as I said, the human element of it, and your personality shines through. And obviously buy the book, but the Audible is so good. Like, I really love, and because the reason I got the audiobook, I don't always listen to Audible, but it's because I'm in Abu Dhabi and I contacted you a while ago, didn't I? And you said, oh, I'm only free in half term. I was like, I've got to read this book, and the books can take about 3 weeks to get here. So I saw it on Audible, so I downloaded it instantly, and it's just something that I've just been, I'm going to listen to it again. I really, really liked it. So yeah, thank you for writing that book and for recording it. Like you said, you're now as well adding to your CV, as well as MBE, Global Prize winner. Voiceover. Come and be a voiceover with us at Teacher Talk Radio with Graham. Come and join the team.
Oh, wonderful.
I have had some questions, and actually one of them was about what was it like meeting Theresa. So we talked about, we love name dropping on this show. So you met Prince William, you met Kate, not me, Kate Middleton. So what about Theresa May? How was that? And you met Jeremy Corbyn, is that right? So
right, yeah. I've met quite a few people actually.
Tell us them all. Tell us.
Oh no, so in terms, right. So can you remember the prologue in the book? So when I arrived, when I won the award, they just the next day I was on a plane back, business class on Emirates. I mean, God, come on, wow. Did not sleep because I was pressing all the buttons and hanging out in the bum back. So just they took me to down. They first of all we went to Houses of Parliament because we had I was in the gallery for the Prime Minister's question times, and what happened was is that I was in the gallery, and then Theresa May, our Prime Minister at that time, said, "And we have some great news. We have the world's best teacher is from the UK, and I'll be seeing her in the next 10 minutes." And then straight when she said that, Jeremy Corbyn, who was the shadow leader, just stood up and he's like, "Well, I actually met her 2 weeks ago," and so they were having a fight off between me.
Love it.
It was gorgeous. So then I just thought, oh my God, this is so bizarre, so strange. Then the plan was to quickly have a chat with Theresa May, and I met her, and I just, the one thing I do love about Theresa May is that she can really accessorize. I mean, she always, I'm always looking at her bling, and whenever it's like, I think she really considers this. And I remember thinking, oh, what am I going to wear? I've got to look good. So we went to Downing Street, and I sat in her office, and she complimented me on my fabulous sparkly jacket. I just thought I'd throw that in there, which was quite wonderful at the time.
Nice.
And we just talked about. She just said, congratulations, blah, blah, blah. So tell me about your school. And so I just went mad and just went, and we did this, and we did that, and we did that, and it's in a very deprived part of the UK, or whatever. So I literally just did not stop. I just was saying, this is what my school is like. It's amazing. And then her PA was like, I think we've only got 2 minutes. We've got 2 minutes left. So that was it. I had to quickly go off. And then she goes to me, you're going to go on a tour of Downing Street later. We've organised it for you with the school's minister. And then off I went to Downing Street, and I had the most, again, another kind of surreal moment, being taken around Downing Street and shown, if you go into Downing Street, guys, the amount of artwork that is on that wall. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I teach those pieces. I'm like, oh my God, I teach this piece of work when we do Lowry in art. And it's there in front of me. So I think they were trying to rush me off to all the rooms. I was like, oh, this piece of artwork, and then had tea upstairs in the Churchill's bedroom, as you do, and then that's when I had that moment. I think that very interesting moment, which. Do I share, Kate? Do I share this?
Go
moment?
for it.
Okay.
It's up to you.
Yeah. So I had a very, one of those strange. I don't even know how to explain it. Those surreal moments. So you're sitting around a table with lots of men in suits and lots of people from the government, opposite me, and I was offered a job, and the job was to support, recruit teachers. The new teachers coming into the profession, so there was kind of like a poster campaign. That's what they wanted me to do. And what do you think, Andrea? And I said, no, thank you, no, thank you very much, but let me think about it. Silence, intake of air, kind of chests were rising. Oh, that's not what she said. She should say yes, shouldn't she? No. And when I was asked to explain why I did not want, or why I wasn't interested in this role, I just did that kind of 10% women's braver moments, the Greek beast outleashed in my soul. And I was like, well, because this government is killing the arts and education, and then that's it. I just went off and I just told them about all the reasons of how they basically rubbished arts and textiles and destroyed it was so raw. Okay, I was a bit naughty, I was very raw, but there you go. And so no looking back.
No, absolutely.
No looking back.
Yeah. But that, listening to your book, and anyone who's worked in a school knows that arts and textiles doesn't have that profile that amongst other subjects. So you're absolutely right to have raised that, and how sassy and incredible that you were able to do that, and the confidence. And of course they'd have loved that, you as a poster girl, as the best teacher in the world and promoting it like that. But you have gone on to do your artist in residence, stayed at your school. So I absolutely think you did the right thing. And that is a great story to tell as well, isn't it?
Yeah, well, first
there's
of all,
not many people who can say that.
Well, look, thank you for saying sassy, because I just love that. I'm gonna completely take that now. So sassy is exactly what I'm trying to achieve in my life. But yeah, I my gut feeling was, if I take this job, then every single art teacher and across the country, across the world, what kind of credibility will I have? It's almost, I'm being fake. This is not, they will never, I will never be respected, because it doesn't seem right. So yeah, and I think it's about following your gut instincts, and that just being truthful to yourself. And you know what, it's been probably the hardest decision, the most scariest decision, or probably the best decision I've made, because it's just made me a little bit more fiery and a bit more on this sassy mission. But yes,
it's Queen of Sass. Get you another award for sassiness. No, what you've gone on to do is raise the profile with your work with artists in residence, and I'll tweet out all of these links, and people are asking. And then so that's amazing. You said you met lots of other famous people. Is there anyone who's your favorite famous person that you've met? This like not a teacher related question, just a bit of a
no, but
a
you know what?
Oh
my God, there's so many beautiful people out there who are just special. But I tell you, the one person who I have got so much space in my heart for, his name is Lewis Hamilton, first of all. And exactly right. So how did I meet Lewis Hamilton? Well, he was the guy who, remember, award ceremony in Dubai, completely bonkers, out of this world. So Lewis Hamilton was the guy who they filmed bringing my trophy into the Dubai, into the arena. So they did a kind of a filming thing of him. So in he walked, holding my trophy. And then, and to be completely honest with you, I'm going to whisper this just in case he's hearing, but I'm not a Formula One racing fan. It doesn't do anything for me. And have you heard of, everyone heard of Lewis Hamilton? But we had an interview together, and we just hit it off. And I just felt, out of all those strange people in the audience, Al Gore, all these ministers, I felt so comfortable with him, really comfortable. And he's the most down-to-earth person you'd ever meet. He's got the biggest heart of gold. He was just, he talks about his family, his inspiration. He's just beautiful, pure heart. And then, and I said, I'd love it if you can come to my school. Yeah, I'd love to come to your school. Everyone loves to come to my, they always say, yeah, no problem. But you just think, celebrities, they'll just say that just to keep me from shutting up. I think it was 8 months later, his people contacted my people.
Your people,
yeah. And they just said that, Lewis is going to be in the UK. He wants to come meet Andrew's. He wants to come to Andrew's school, and that was the most greatest day we ever had in my school. I mean, he came in and we had a whole, we just went for a tour in the school. So we played basketball in the, with the kids, and the kids just loved him. He walked into classrooms, and the kids, they didn't know about it, so their jaws dropped. One boy just started crying because he was so he was overwhelmed by it. Teachers were just like, oh my god, that's Lewis Hamilton, oh my god, that's and he was glowing from it. He had the best time. So for me, it's people like Lewis Hamilton who is the most successful, one of the most successful UK grown people in the world, who has had a really challenging time at school. He had a really difficult time at school, and yet he just was at home when he came into my world and to meet the kids, and he's such a great role model to them. He was so humble, so inspiring, and I think he is somebody who I would love to meet again, have got so much time for, and he's one of the good ones, that I've met, and beautiful person.
That is an amazing story. You must be the most popular teacher bringing Lewis Hamilton to school. Oh my goodness. I mean, I'm in Abu Dhabi and I actually seen him race at the Formula One track, but that tops it. That is a great story. This is incredible, isn't it? All the opportunities that have come.
This is why I'm loving, this award has been beautiful for that reason, just because of what's happened, and it's still happening. We've got another really fabulous celebrity coming in a couple of weeks time to the school, and I can't tell you his name because I haven't had it cleared by the head teacher yet, but and it's like, I know the kids are going to go mad when they see this. I know, and it's good for the teachers get really inspired as well, because it's like, that they're having that little kind of that fizz and that beautiful moment, working in their school, having people coming in who they see on TV and whatever, and it's just happiness all the way around, and that you just want to work in a happy school, and I think that's what has helped to kind of promote a little bit more this award. So yeah.
Aww. And you've used your award to shine a spotlight on your school, and like I said, we're all queuing up to go and visit, and that's so exciting. But so what are your plans then for the future then? Obviously carrying on working with the artists in residence. So do you think you'll write another book, and what or are you planning on staying at Alberton? They obviously wouldn't want to lose you. So what's in the near future for you, Andrea, do you think?
I think, Kate, in the near future, I mean, do you know what I've realized? I know that I'm a blessed person. I know that I have got angels around me and guiding me, and I'm one of the lucky ones who, mum and dad and family and husband and kids are just, they're the ones who I'm very close with and keep me keep me on track, I'd say. I don't know. I mean, I'd love to write another book. I really enjoy doing that one. I know that you're an expert in this area, but it's about time, I think. And this, I'm not sure. I mean, obviously, leaving Alberton is not an option at the moment. I'm just not ready to even think about looking at other places or other schools. But I think what I've just learned is just see what happens and see what comes your way, and just keep open and don't pressure. I think I put myself under a lot of pressure over the last 2 years, and in terms of making sure that I've used this award and celebrated it really well for the school and for myself, and I'm just going to now remove that pressure a little bit and just see what comes up my way, and just enjoy living and work teaching and just helping other teachers, inspiring other teachers, and just making life good and healthy for me. I think that's the plan.
When you said about your part-time, I thought, oh, that makes sense, because I do a lot, but I was like, you do a lot. You really do a lot, obviously, with your artist in residence, your SLT role, your teaching, meeting up with Prince William, so like you are a very busy lady.
But do you know what, I've noticed that just having the days that you're not working in school, it's quite inspiring because I've been teaching 15 years, and I think I'm institutionalized with this is how life is. This, the school, this is what it's all about. This is school. You wake up, you go, you have registration, and so that's my school day. Oh, it's 11 o'clock. That's break time, right? So let me go and get a cup of tea and go to the loo, kind of thing. But I think working outside of the school environment has been quite interesting. I've seen how the others do it, Kate. Do you know what I mean? The other people outside of EduWorld live and react and talk. And that's the Jekyll and Hyde in me. I think it's so different. It's so interesting, that world as well. So yeah, I think I've got the best of both worlds at the moment. I'm not, and I don't think I'm balancing it very well. I don't think I've got work-life balance sorted. I think I will never have work-life balance sorted because I just enjoy my work. I enjoy what I do. So yeah, so be it.
Yeah, well, your sister's a teacher, isn't she? Is that
she is.
She's
awesome.
Your husband's not a teacher, though, is he? Or have I got no? He's not.
No, he's not a teacher, and do you know what? I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I think he'd be an amazing teacher. I think he'd be really, really good. And he's so intelligent. It drives me crazy, and he's so reasonable. It drives me crazy. I think he'd be brilliant, and he's so patient. It drives me crazy. But I think there's just enough for one of these people in our households. But
yeah, no, because you said that in your book, and I thought I need someone like that to say, put the emails away. It's chill time now, because actually. Yeah, and obviously you've got your two daughters as well. So is that correct as well? You've got two little. Well, no, are they little, or how old are your daughters now?
No, they're 12. They're 12 and 10. And thank you for stalking me so brilliantly. I'm loving it. Yes, your facts are all correct.
I know, I've got loads of facts actually, as well as your book, which is obviously very insightful. I wrote down loads of interesting things, so you can actually very quickly before we go, we'll fact check them, see if they're okay. That you have learnt the basics of 35 languages that are in your school, so that you can sort of have basic communication in 35 different languages. Is that correct? That's online.
Actually, well, if you think about it, right? So when you're working at a school that's got 95%, no, more than that, 99% EAL, and you've got, and then so you're going to have to say Kemcho, Namaste, Hola, Buenos Dias, so many times throughout the day just to kind of greet your young learners. So yeah, it is a fact. It is a fact.
Wow, that's a good one. I'm trying to think what else I've got. I've got loads of facts about you. I'm sure they're all true, and I just keep reading it because I've been messaging you this week, going, "Wow, you're amazing." Another thing, yes, you are. You're too humble. Honestly, when I saw the tweet from Buckingham Palace where you were like, "This is for all teachers," I was like, "It is, but come on, it's for you as well." So don't be so humble.
My mum and my dad.
Oh. That's so lovely as well. And you helped a music teacher launch a Somali school choir, and then you helped with the girls only sports. So girls only sports, because of obviously we have in Abu Dhabi, we have to be very culturally sensitive. And I thought that was really interesting in your book, how your school is so diverse and how you manage that, and how you were saying it wasn't about the British values, it was about the teachers learning about the different cultures, and the fact that now that's your new role, isn't it, next year, diversity, you're perfect for that role, it sounds.
But I think, no, I'm not going to take the credit for that. I will not take the credit for that. I think this is about, again, going back to a school like mine, whereby it's not just about we have got a curriculum that we are dictated to teach. It's about actually thinking, look, who is it that we have in front of us? Who is it that we have? How do we get them engaged? What is it that we need to do? And it's about embracing them, embracing the fact that you are going to have parents who are illiterate, who can't speak the language, who can't read their own language, let alone read English. So it's about, having your awareness lenses on to think, let's have a reality check. So it's really lovely. Do you know what, Kate? I love the fact that you've just reminded me of that. The fact that we this is how we roll in the school, because it's about trying to kind of, And I think this is what teaching is all about, really, isn't it? It's the building the relationships and getting engagement. And when you get engagement from people who is a challenge to engage, you are half the way there. So yeah, thank you for that. That's a really good reminder of how awesome we are in my place. Awesome, amazing.
Oh, well, when I come back to the UK, I was meant to be leaving in July, but it's a little bit, I'll be back in December. So next year I will come and visit you, your school, and we'll have to go for a coffee and Brent and catch up about everything. And oh, you have just been an incredible guest. So lovely to talk to. Even though you're a millionaire, you're very down to earth. Lovely. So I was very excited for today.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for all your support. And I've just loved the support from your listeners as well, and all the comments that have been coming in. And we're looking forward to having you home with us. We've got lots of work to do, Kate, when you get back. So so when you come back, let's meet up. Let's get our thinking caps on, and let's just go and do this.
Absolutely. You have made me really, really excited about coming back to the UK to teach. And anyone who's listening, please do read Andrea's book. Those who can, teach. What's the second part of it? Sorry, I haven't got that written down. Oh, here's my research. But that's so
you're stalking.
Oh, here you go.
Yeah,
I've got it.
What it takes to make the next generation, published by Bloomsbury. There you go. We've done all the official bits. Don't worry about it. We've done all the official bits. It's all good. It's all good.
It's available in bookstores, because actually they don't usually have many education books, but lots of shops. My friends have been sending me pictures going, oh, I'm in a bookshop. And
honestly, sorry, I know we're running out of time, but I've got to. So I went to Brent Cross, which is my local mall in the UK. It's like, literally the thing where the place where my second home. And I dragged my mum with me, and I was like, oh, Mum, let's go to Waterstones, because I know my book should be there, thinking, will they have it in my local Brent Cross supermarket in North London? And it was there. And I cried and I had tears, because my book was in a bookshop. So I know how you feel.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So lovely. Oh, it's an amazing feeling.
Great feeling. So, or if you want to hear more, you can listen on Audible, which was an absolute treat. So thank you very much again, Andrea. We must stay in touch, and I will come visit your school and everything you've done. I suppose congratulations for everything that you've done. You well deserved. And to me, honestly, you really are a huge inspiration. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your weekend and half term with your family.
Thanks so much, Kate. God bless you. Thank you, and safe journey back to us when you get here in December.
Oh, thank you. Bye.
Bye now. Bye.
Oh, that was absolutely amazing. So I know some people have joined us a little bit late, but you can always listen back to this as a podcast. So thank you for joining me, and thank you to Andrea Zafiaku, MBE. She was an incredible guest. So it's Friday. Have a lovely weekend, whatever it is that you're doing, and I will see you next week.
You've been listening to Teachers Talk Radio. Tune in live and listen back at ttradio.org. We look forward to hearing from you next time on Teachers Talk Radio.